If you are thinking about the spectrum of knowledge from not knowing to knowing, somewhere in between there we would put the belief. So would you put it rather on the side of not knowing or on the side of knowing? And for me, I've come to the conclusion, believing is exactly the same thing as saying, I don't know. I believe something means I don't know about that subject. And so why should I use the term belief, and why should we use it maybe? And what's the purpose of believing something? And here's my reasoning behind why you should eliminate it. If you observe your own thought process of what you maybe think you are, what the world is, what you think is right and what is wrong, if you are not aware that you are believing many things, you will take them as truth. You will, usually, when you adopt a belief, you will think you know it. You will see it as a truth. And that's very problematic, because then you will never really know anything for sure, and especially in spirituality. If you have a teaching and you like it, and you will adopt what you have been taught as a belief, but you have no clue that you just adopted a belief, you may confuse it for having the truth, and that won't do anything for you. For example, let's say somebody is telling you there's a person living on the backside of the moon, and he knows it, and you say, and you are really going out and thinking, should I believe this person or should I not believe it? What difference does it make? It makes no difference at all. If you believe that person or not, it doesn't change anything for you. And even if you believe him, you may think you know something, but you really don't. And it's the same for spirituality. If you believe some teaching without experiencing the truth for yourself, it won't do anything for you. And so whenever you come across a teaching or something that somebody is telling you, ask yourself this question. Should I believe it? Should I not believe it? And what's the purpose? And when you believe it, still at the same time know that you don't know anything yet. That you can adopt the belief maybe as a guiding point, as a direction you can walk at, and something to think about maybe differently than what you have thought about before, and in a different way than you are currently thinking about a subject. And then try to find the truth for yourself. Adopt beliefs as not knowing. Become clear for yourself that whenever you adopt a belief, you are still in the place of not knowing. For example, if you, in some spiritual teachings, they say, you are nothingness. You don't exist. Okay, you may do a lot of reading and you may come logically to the conclusion, oh yes, I'm really nothing, and you start believing it. Will it do something for you? Maybe, but probably not. As long as you're not experiencing that yourself is nothingness for yourself directly, immediately, then it doesn't change anything. And how do you know that you know something or not? Let's say you drink a glass of water. You drink the glass of water, you experience drinking the glass of water, and then you stop, and somebody asks you, maybe 5 minutes later, did you drink a glass of water 5 minutes ago? There's no single bit of doubt in your mind. You just say, yes, I drank a glass of water. You can think back what the experience was like. The temperature, maybe you remember, the glass you have been drinking out of. And so this very, very simple experience you had, you know for a fact, 100% sure, no doubt about it. And now compare this to the question, have you experienced yourself as nothingness? And then maybe you are a person who believes that yourself really is nothing and you don't exist, and oh yeah, I know I'm nothingness and I don't really exist, and yeah, that's what this and this teaching says. But what? No, you don't know it. You haven't experienced it. And so this isn't really knowing. But if you have experienced yourself as nothingness, if you know you had the experience maybe, or it's as clear for you as your memory 5 minutes ago of drinking the glass of water. There's no doubt in your mind if you experience yourself without ground, as the eternal nothingness, as consciousness, whatever you may want to call it. That's putting your experience into words, as difficult as it may be. But the experience itself is as clear to you as the example I just gave you was drinking the glass of water. And so really this word belief, for now, I want you to erase it from your thinking. Approach everything as I know it or I don't know it. And when you do that, you will come to the conclusion with all teachings that you first of all come from a place of not knowing, and you will quickly realize what those teachings are actually meant to do for you and what they can do for you. And that's not giving you any belief. And you will quickly be able also to sort out good quality teachings from bad quality teachings, where they are teaching you ways to achieve insights for yourself compared to other teachings where they are just talking about models, mental models about what you should believe, and never really telling you how to get to the true insight and true knowing yourself. But what beliefs can do for you is breaking up your existing beliefs. And that's the critical part. We all, during our time when we grew up and during our whole life, when we haven't been conscious of this dynamic that I'm just describing, we adopt beliefs all the time as knowledge. And this fundamental aspect of self and no self starts very early on, and we never question it. That's why it's so difficult to overcome this illusion. It's a belief you have been unconsciously taught by your family, your society, over your whole lifetime, and really never questioned it. And then later in school, many other beliefs came on top of that you now hold as truth. Truth that you know are true, which you don't, which you just adopted, and you never really went out to explore the truth behind them for yourself. And that's also, many things have become so complex with science that we can never verify them for ourselves. It would take us lifetimes. All these insights from physics and mathematics we would have to study for many years in order to think all of this through and really see the truth behind some of those statements of physicality and what have you. And so we are left many times with a belief. But still we should have in the back of our mind the comparison of something we really know and something we don't know, and rather put our beliefs into something in the category of not knowing, of something we don't know. So what teachings can do is break up these beliefs that we hold as truths and present us with alternatives, presenting us with maybe more effective ways of seeing the world, of interpreting what we are experiencing, and of really discovering truth for ourselves. They can be valuable. You shouldn't discard teachings at all of them. I mean, value them based on reasoning and your judgment and what I just mentioned before, if they just feed you more beliefs, or if they give you ways for true insight, ways to achieve deep knowing for yourself. And this is the fundamental idea, which I'm really, really thankful for Peter Ralston, stumbling upon his teaching many years ago and really sorting out all of the crap from what you really know, and then seeing that you are really in a place of not knowing. This is what I wanted to share. It's really, really important, I believe, to have your beliefs as something you don't know, to hold them in your mind as something you don't know, and maybe as an exercise. I would recommend over the coming weeks, you can really, whenever some thought comes up in your mind about maybe your spiritual path, about something your life is concerned with, your bigger belief system about the world, really look at it, not from something that you engage in as a mental exercise, but something where you are judging this, and ask yourself, is this something I know, or is this something I don't know? And it can be a bit terrifying, because I have observed in myself, I had to drop a lot. Most of what I was thinking, I didn't know. I could just stop right there. It has no benefit to me. Just as someone living on the other side of the moon has no implication for really what I do in my life and what I know. I cannot know it. And so any belief system you will have to drop as something that's irrelevant and something that you really don't know. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you, and see you soon.